Good morning, America, and the rest of the world. All right, my friend, today this newsletter is very educational. That newsletter will definitely, I'm 100% sure, upset a lot of people. But hey, if you can handle the undiluted truth, you find the right channel. All right, the title of this newsletter is What is Your Perceptions of Christ in this Vastly Cosmic Scenario? I will strongly, very strongly recommend all my readers, supporters watching these videos to take the time and to read that newsletter. Well, today is Saturday, tomorrow is Sunday. I decided to put a lot of information involving Jesus, God, the reptilians, the draconis, UFOs. It's a very deep, very educational, extraordinarily challenging article. So put your head to it and you're going to learn something. I guarantee you that. Now, first, the good news, another show. I'm going to be on the radio with Lorian Fenton, the Phantom Perspective Revolution Radio, tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific time. Again, not exactly sure what we're going to be talking about. I leave that to Lorian. He's a professional. I'm a professional. As you know, all the radio show takes a life of their own. So we're going to see. Maybe we're going to talk about Jesus. So, as you know, on the video that I generated yesterday, I made a request and asking you if you have something that you want to talk about or questions or whatever it is, just send me an email. Of course, we got tons of emails. I did answer some of them personally that I felt needed attention because some people are really degenerated and very depressed, and I want to do my best to help them. But I picked the one from Pam because it is, I believe, educational and concerns everybody. It's involving Jesus and God, and the cosmic code, and the UFOs for that matter. So this is what she wrote to me. And again, you can read it when you click on the link provided under the video. I have recently been struggling in more than one venue of my little life and achieving some small advances in knowledge and understanding. Indeed, a modest person. However, the more I come to understand, the more I find myself pondering what's new. This is usually how it works, especially in the ufology world. Contrary to the many overly fundamentalist influences which apply surface level patterns as band-aids and tend to be forbidding of any surgery for truth, I believe in the deity of Jesus Christ and that his supreme essence supersedes as well as works throughout celestial times. And so my question is in just that. What is your perceptions of Christ in this vastly cosmic scenario? You can see that Pam is not only highly intellectual, probably educated, indeed very smart and extremely spiritual, but she already had, at least on a subconscious level, part of the questions that God has enslaved every one of us to uncover. So there is so much to say as to answer, Pam. I would again strongly recommend you to take the time and digest all my answers to what Jesus is all about. Now, to be very objective, I do believe in God, I do believe in Jesus, but not in the Bible or not as anything and everything that was generated by the mind of men that were subject or that were controlled by the reptilians. In other words, the codification of thought that ends up in the Bible that has been edited for centuries, and that book is now 15 or 20 pounds. So what I'm trying to say Um, Jesus' initial cosmic ministry was taken away from you and from your children. There is no doubt in my mind that Jesus was a contactee, and so was other biblical figures like Moses, that was also abducted, but not necessarily by the benevolent Draconis, but the reptilians, because if you watch my video, that all religions, and there are 875 different denominations out there, were created by the reptilians, because religions impose chaos, impose anything and everything that has to do with separatism, confusion, deception, chaos, war, and indeed at the end, ISIS caliphate. So somebody must be right. So you will have to use a lot of your critical thinking when you dedicate this Cosmic Code newsletter that took me hours to generate for you, so that you can understand a little bit more God cosmic message, how he speaks to us through the sign, and realize that Jesus was not only abductee, but I believe also a contactee. So read the rest of the story in that newsletter, because some of you might have a problem digesting my English French, because you may be visible, not audible. So you would assimilate the information much easier by reading. All right. So what I want to mention to you also that is important to mention is that, in case you didn't know, back in 1988, I married my ex-wife Brigitte. And Brigitte is the one who ended up in the flying saucer and had the fetus being removed. She pointed out a 2.5 scar above the airline in the shower soon after the abduction. So it was pretty traumatic, and that's why she got rid of my ass. Well, what would you expect? I told her that she could attract UFOs. She laughed about me because she's a very strong, rational, earthy Taurus. But the fact of the matter, it did happen. So what happened is, back in 1998, I married Edmond Halley, which is great great granddaughter in San Diego, in California, in La Jolla. And the entire Halley's family was there. Okay, now imagine that. One of Edmund Halley descendant married an astrologer. Pretty crazy, but it's true. God knows what happened to me. Furthermore, as I said earlier, Brigitte ended up in a flying saucer, and after abduction, she showed me that scar. Would or could the Edmund Halley notorious family acknowledge this fact, that her great-great-granddaughter married an astrologer, knowing those guys are so rational, so practical, or religious fanatics for that matter? In La Jolla, snobby, very wealthy religious family of my ex-wife, we had a bit of a problem, because my house was loaded with astrological signs. You remember when I had this abduction, I couldn't help myself to draw all sorts of astrological signs, UFO symbols, and forced to rekindle Nostradamus astrology. The next thing you know, the Edmund Halley family came into my house and saw all this stuff, because we couldn't afford to get married anywhere else. That's where we got married. Now, so you read all the details. That's another fact that you do not know, but I just let you know. Pretty much like me being 5 feet under the city hall of Roswell, New Mexico, in a time capsule that will be open when I'll be 94-year-old or dead. Just in case you do not know, for the 50th anniversary, I was invited there. We were doing a radio show with George Norrie, live show here with all the guys, all the UFO speakers, and they asked me to make some predictions which are buried on this time capsule. Just wanted to let you know. All right, so talking about coast to coast, I read their newsletters, and there is a very interesting one that if you subscribe, you read, and you can read and see the pictures of Cyrus Reed Teed. He was an electric physician and alchemist that turned into a religious leader. Now, he was born in 1869 after an illumination. Okay, pretty much like Moses, you know, he had an illumination and received the Ten Commandments. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? Some people sees UFO, the next thing you know, they say, oh, they told me to build a church. You turn around, the 10 church I'll build after that. Now you can see the power of the reptilians. It's amazing. It's amazing to me. So he took the name of Koresh and proposed a new set of scientific principles, including a hollow earth theory. Jesus. I really thought modern UFO speakers believe that the moon is hollow and the moon is a base for extraterrestrials. But no. Obviously, Cyrus Reed Teed promoted this hollow earth theory. Well, he was born October 18, 1839 under the sign of Libra. All you got to do is click on the link to read about him, who he was, what he did, and click in the sign of Libra. You know, there is two signs in astrology. Would it be on the moon, or would it be on the rising, the natal, or hidden dragon, or the sun sign that are naturally set to digest the codification of thought and cannot exit the book? They are usually a walking Bible, using terms of the Bible, every chance they got. Their mind is unable, it's not advanced enough. Their UCI, or unique celestial identity, is not developed enough to enter the archetypal realm of supracosmic consciousness. So what I decided to do today is to give you a little idea of how I can read people and how I can see people and their fate. Why Cyrus Reed Teed was an electric physician, an alchemist who turned into a religious leader and believe that the earth is hollow. It's so there. I want you to keep an eye on that. Just digest for a second this chart. Okay, and this is where we're going to start. He was born a Libra. Right here, he has a stellium in Libra. His soul's purpose is clear. The soul's stellium means a lot of planets in the sign of Libra. His soul's purpose is clear. It's to understand the law. Libra is the law. Now you have one set of laws that are written by men. It's like anything that involves the legal system, the IRS, stopping at a red light, the stop sign. These are the laws written by men, and that include the Bible, because God never came down and wrote no books. Now the other side of the scale indicate the soul must learn and the other side of the physical laws, or the laws written in light by God through the divine, through the cosmic code, because God can only speak to us through the signs. So Libra, soul's purpose is to investigate both sides of the laws and come out with a just balance. That's why Libra was psychology, psychiatry, astropsychology, the legal system, and anything that is codified. So knowing that you have a very powerful stellium in this sign, and you have all those planets in there, it depicts why he was able to dedicate only one sign of the scale, so to speak. Now look at this third house. This third house is the critical thinking. Is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules the codification of thought, the books, the laws, okay, so to speak. And he has Saturn in Sagittarius. Saturn is the great malefic. It turned him into a professional student of the books, or, of course, a fervent reader of the Bible. Okay, that's what it is. And he had Mars in it, so he was pretty aggressive in his words. Mars is the planet of war and aggressivity. It drives the will principle. So Mars in Sagittarius made him very direct. He believed every word he said. He was very aggressive in the process, and he could also not only teach but write a lot of books. So he was a prophet. professional library, a professional student loaded with information imposed by Saturn. Saturn is the fear principle. He had the fear of not knowing enough. Now, where comes the idea of inventing new things? You see that? The moon in Aquarius, there you go. Aquarius represent the inventor. I have a stellium myself in Aquarius, like he has a stellium in Libra. Mine is in Aquarius, but Aquarius rules the geniuses, and Libra rules the laws. So now, next to his moon in Aquarius, he has Neptune, and Neptune is the planet of deception, illusion, and imagination. So Neptune, close to the moon, is like having a moon in Pisces. And moon in Pisces produce people that have a tremendous imagination, but have big problems in delegating reality. So if you hear somebody telling you the moon is hollow, well, you know that person is a Neptunian. So you can read by clicking on the newsletter what is a Neptunian. Now look, the head of the dragon. The head of the dragon is into the sign of Pisces. Pisces rules anything and everything to do with Christianity, with religion, or with deception. And that tells you why he was a religious leader. And he made the theory that the earth was hollow and God knows what. Now, the tail of the dragon is in the subconscious. See that? The 12th house is into the sign of Virgo, into the 12th house. And that means that this person has a lot of problem to delegate anything that is highly spiritual, to delegate fiction from reality. In other words, when I tell you there is just one thin hair between divine information and pure imagination, and you have a total obvious case with Cyrus Reed teeth. So I am not denying his accomplishment, but his accomplishment was written in light, and it's all deceiving. Only if you own cosmic consciousness will you be able to decipher the real truth, because you learn and you master God cosmic design, and you understand how he speaks to us through the sign, which are making up humans' robotic action, thinking, and fate, leading them to specific fate. So there is so much more to say about Cyrus Reed Teeth. And when I do my teaching in Los Angeles, I will take him as an example and give a lot of more information of his chart. You know, when people tells you astrology is a pseudoscience, do not believe it, my friend. Oh my gosh, you have no idea, because Jesus' initial cosmic ministry start and finish with astrology. And those three wise men following the stars, they were astrologer. Unless they built during those days turbocharged camel, there is no way you can follow a star, my friend, unless it is plotted in a map. Astrology, that is what it is. So when you hear those three wise men following a star, they were not actually on a camel following a star. They were doing it through a astrological chart. But again, the reptilius infected religious matrix do not want you to know that. Remember the Spaniards who went to South of America. They went to the Mayans. They went everywhere out there. They took the circle, the golden circle of the sun from the temple of the sun, and they took the circle also of silver of the temple of the moon. They brought it back to Spain or Portugal, and then that wisdom was not wasted for everything. They dealt with it, they read it, they used it, they were smart enough to understand, and they said more reason to take that away from you. So it's not wasted for everybody. The proof of that again, and you will see in the newsletter that we have pictures of the Pope being taught astrology by the Vatican Council during those days. So there is so much you do not know. There is so much you have to know. All you got to do is to bypass your fear of the unknown, is to bypass your fear that you're going to go to hell if you delegate with me, because you are already on hell in your ignorance and your fear feeding the reptilians. Now, there is so much that you have to know, my good friends. And all I can do every single day is to give you a little bit more of my cosmic wisdom. All right, I'd like to finish with good news. I received an email from my good friend um, who promoted the UFO Mega Conference in Laughlin, Nevada. Brown, Mr. Brown, Bob Brown, and his beautiful daughters. Just can't wait to see them again. So they have invited me to speak, but not this year. I'm a little bit too late. Plus, I already have a lot of things on my plate. But I will be there on February the 15th through the 22nd. I will do a book signing there. I will do readings there. So I want to hug those girls again. I want to introduce them to my wife. I want to check my good friend Bob's hands and to talk to some of the speakers that are there that are a good friend of mine that have been hanging around with various conferences in the past. So it's going to be a phenomenal time for you to meet us there next February. Now, there is other conference that I have to do. The next one will be, of course, in San Diego. So click on the link, November 3rd. Hope to see you there. And then after that, we're going to go to Australia. And then we're going to do the marvelous alien, the Big Bear Lake conference, UFO conference. I will do my slideshow. Depending on the time that I have, I will be trying to reach Draco and prove to you the reality of this extraterrestrial. Remember, ET don't speak French or English. They do not speak no human language. All they do is telepathic. Okay, they communicate with you with this. It's all telepathic. It's all psychical. Okay, and they will definitely, no, I've been there a few times, 5 times to be precise. They will now and then abduct people and use specific unique energy to interact into this dense physical world using those cosmic winds for safety. Now, they don't come to see us when they feel like, or they don't come to do abduction when they feel like. They have also to respect specific universal laws. And remember, all extraterrestrial, whether it be the reptilians or the draconis, both are very cosmic conscious. Some will use those cosmic winds to stimulate you using the forces of the sun to make you to create something beautiful, to be nice, to love, to create beautiful music, beautiful painting, invent new technology, while the reptilians who can only survive with negativity may decide to lead you to develop technology to kill better, or make nukes. I don't know. Okay, just understand what I'm trying to tell you here, my friend. This UFO phenomenon is not a joke. We are really coming into the full realization of those extraterrestrials have been with us since the get-go. Okay, and I don't know if I can say it's lucky for me. Maybe it's a curse for me to have been touched by those extraterrestrials. But so far, the downloading of the cosmic code that took place above the sky of Los Angeles with my wife in 1991 allowed me to rebuild Nostradamus' divine astrology and give you an idea to why people do what they do and why they lead a very specific fate, why they are open to the cosmic design to understand Jesus' initial ministry, or to actually stick with the Bible and being unable to dedicate the undiluted truths that they cannot comprehend. So that's where we are. That's where you are. And with those series of videos, and maybe you're going to learn a little bit more. Again, I choose this email today. I wrote a long newsletter to keep you busy this weekend. So remember, when you read, you learn. Okay, so if you have questions, dream interpretation, if you have questions about ETs, question about yourself, you have my email address. Okay, in any of my newsletters, you always have my email address or Terrania's email address. Just, contact me and I'll do all that I can to help you. Again, I will always pick up something like I did today that will serve humanity at large. All right, my good friends, we come at the end of this little presentation. I will take this opportunity one more time to thank you very much for your trust in my work and for listening to the most crazy man on the planet. Crazy? Oh, I don't think so. Me to know, you to find out in time, my good friend. Goodbye. Make it a beautiful weekend.